Okay.
So what do we have as a first question?
What does St. Patrick's Day mean to you, and how do you usually celebrate it? I usually didn't, but then I started going into Celtic Treasures, and I would go by there on St. Patrick's Day and occasionally do something else. But as a kid, it was the Color the Shamrock thing.
Yeah, Celtic Treasures being the Celtic store here in town up until recent years, the hub of the Alaskan Celtic scene. That is where I've done it traditionally in the last couple of years, but mine was having cookies made with this god-awful green frosting on it that turned your teeth and tongue, a green. And I remember being in school as a little kid, and if you didn't wear green on that day, you could be pinched. And I remember you'd never not do that, especially with a name like Kevin, very Irish name here. So, but recently, I think we get together with friends. I don't get pinched. I don't work with anybody in my office, but we've gone over. We've tried to celebrate it with friends, and we've done more things with the Celtic community of Alaska and the Irish Club in terms of getting out and connecting with our circle of friends that seem to be in the same organizations that we are. So
I remember the pinching thing where I went to school too, and we moved around a lot, so that was a lot of schools, and it was the same everywhere. But I remember one of my friends had an older sister who was really a good older sister, and she was convincing us that this red plaid shirt that he was wearing really did have some green. Do you see it? It's right there. Do you see it? And I couldn't see it, and I couldn't see it, but I finally just gave up, and he did not get pinched, so that was very good of her for being an older sister. What do you eat on St. Patrick's Day?
Well, I already fessed up.
You have the cookies.
And recently, from going to Celtic Treasures and the Irish Club coming in, Sean McGrain's Colcannon, I think.
Patty's Car Bombs.
Oh, yes, definitely a little taste of...
Oh, yeah, she rations those out. And if you're driving yourself home, that's a good thing.
There might have been some enhanced coffee in the back. I'm not a coffee drinker, but Eddie View imbued it with something more. Those were always tasty. And then, of course, corned beef, a little mustard, a little rye bread to top it all off. A wonderful day listening to the musicians at Celtic Treasures. And so that traditionally has been our routine in the last number of years. But now we have to come up with something new.
How do they celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Ireland? I don't know. They do a really good job with Halloween. We were there for Halloween, but I don't know what they do there for St. Patrick's Day.
But I think it should be something that we learn about firsthand. Now with a pandemic going on, you long for those times when we can travel again, and that would be up there on the list, is to have those experiences. So,
or find a Zoom St. Patrick's Day thing somewhere in Ireland, because I'm sure there's one out there.
There's Zoom everything. That or a podcast.
How will you celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year?
Drawing a blank. But I would imagine we'll reach out, maybe do something on Zoom, see what friends are doing. The Irish Club has certainly raised its connection to its members through doing different online features and things like that. A lot of times I would get more requests to do ohm writing, which is something that Ann and I both do with a little business that we have called Ancient Celtic Scribes. And that uptick in work also kind of made a connection to Irish history, which was always interesting. But this year, I think it's going to be a little more freestyle.
I'm probably not going to cook corned beef.
Then
Just
that's
saying.
fine. Nor would
Although I like it, but it's a weekday. Who was St. Patrick?
Who was St. Patrick? Well, I will tell you that I don't know a lot about him in Ireland, and what I have studied on St. Patrick was more those kind of early years when he was kidnapped from England or Wales and brought over and was a slave for the first part of his life, escaped, was converted to Christianity, and then I just find it that part interesting that he travels to Italy, this kind of more of a world travel thing we wouldn't think was happening in the 5th century.
Oh, people traveled the whole world
exactly.
over. I mean, every era there was, though.
But you don't necessarily think about him in that way. He's just on that island. But here he is, Patroclus in Rome, being sent off to this last corner of the world, the known world, Ireland. Not the first bishop, but comes in and is the catalyst for converting over a majority of the island to Christianity. There's all those quaint sayings about him chasing different things out of Ireland or doing these miraculous things, but the idea of him traveling back where he had been enslaved, that's the part that was interesting to me. Probably not what you were looking for on something about who is St. Patrick, but a real person. Yes. Courageous, yes. Devout, of course. But someone you could learn a lot about, or learn more about, and I think would be interesting.
Okay, say Happy St. Patrick's Day while looking at the camera.
Well, from Anne and myself, shall we say it together?
No. I don't think that's what they want. I'm not sure.
Well, if that's not what you want, I will say Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, now let's try it together.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
All right, that bright light was really getting to me.